Full disclaimer, I have no idea what I'm doing in this video. In fact, I never know what I'm doing at any given time, but that's a whole different problem. You're here because you clicked on a guide thinking, oh hey, a guide, let's laugh at how wrong and bad it is. Or maybe you actually wanted to learn something. Either way, nice to have you. Allow me to introduce myself. I'm a random guy who plays way too much League of Legends during the week instead of doing my homework like a good boy. For my first and maybe only video, we're going to be talking about laning in League of Legends. For this, I'm assuming you've actually picked up the game and played it at least a little bit, and that you know which side of the map is up. I'll define my terms and recite my definitions of hard things, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, wait a moment, it'll probably make sense. Oh, and just so you know, you don't have to be an idiot to watch this guide. The idiot in the title is talking about me! Anyway, I'll be going over what each lane is, who you should go, stuff like that. So, let's get started with the top and work our way down. Oh, and a quick note. There will be a couple of jitters in the video. That's because my computer is complete trash and is basically a toaster. Apologies for anyone with OCD. Alright, so this is the map for League of Legends. The bases for blue and red are at the corners, and top lane is here. Top lane is, in my opinion, the easiest lane in the game to understand. Maybe because it's my favorite lane, but who knows for sure. The reason top lane is kind of the most basic of lanes is because almost anyone can go top. I mean, sure, you have your tanks like Sion, Ornn, Dr. Mundo, and Poppy, but then you've got guys who have both health and damage, like Darius, Kled, Garen, and Nasus, guys that can be built really either way. And then, of course, you have your high damage champions, like Fiora, Riven, Jax, and Irelia. And, in case you forgot, Teemo. But that's only a fraction of the champs that can survive top lane. Many mages can, like Victor and Vladimir. So what makes top special? And again, you get that answer of, well, it depends on the champion. But of course, this is a guide on laning, so I probably should give a straight answer at some point. Top laners tend to be either guys that can be built tanky, or guys that are just really good at split pushing. Top lane is the lane most removed from the game. It's in a whole nother universe. This allows for a ton of farming, something you wouldn't really get unless you went mid. And from experience, a Mundo mid is a bad bid. That is an important rhyme to remember. And then you have those really weird builds, like AD Mundo or AP Malphite. Your teammates might yell, but man is it fun. Anyway, closing thoughts. Your big jobs are to take towers, deal damage, and tank. You don't usually have to carry the game, just sit back, farm, and relax. Unless, of course, you're a carry role like Jax or Irelia. And a closing message to all my Teemo players in the audience. Go burn in hell, you annoying little shroom spitters. I'd love to use more fancy language, but that would be a very bad start to my YouTube career. Now, onto the next area of the map. This is the jungle. It has many scary monsters and bushes to hide in and is home to the junglers of League of Legends. Junglers need to be able to clear camps quickly and have to also be able to jump into a fight and delete the squishy support or carry hiding at the backline, trying not to get noticed. Several champions come to mind. Kayn, there's Kindred, Warwick, the ever-loving duo of Rengar and Kha'Zix. Then of course you got the really tanky junglers that focus the fight around themselves when they arrive. Rammus is probably the best example of this. He has an ability that helps him get into fights, he has a taunt, and he has a defensive ball curl. But Nunu and Willump also have a massive damage AoE and are most likely going to be built tanky. Poppy gets another mention on the list too. She's got a stun, she's got a shield, and she's got insane damage and extra knockback and chaos from her ult. Basically, junglers need a strong form of CC and a lot of damage or health. This helps them turn a 1v1 or 2v2 into a winning fight, rotating between the different lanes. They usually don't have to carry unless you're Master Yi or Jax, who gets another mention, but provide important early game power that helps to secure kills and get the carries fed. Now on to mid lane, the actual easiest lane in the game to understand. I know I did say that about top, but this really is the easiest lane to get. I divide the champions that go mid into two categories. Mages and spellcasters, and then the guys that hunt them down and kill them. Let's start with the mana buffs. Mages come in many different varieties, but almost all of them are glass cannons that can take you from 100% health to 0 in an instant. They rely on mana and usually have little mobility, but at least you get a form of CC to protect yourself. Common picks include Ziggs, Veigar, Annie, and Miss Smiles. Some mages do have a bit of sustain like Vladimir, but most rely on staying in the back and dishing out the pain. Now, with so many glass cannons up for shattering, League provides some very large hammers. Assassins serve to hard counter mages and the Fed ADCs in the late game by pressing the delete button very rapidly. They also have the ability to get to the backline of the fight, kind of like the junglers, but have more damage in exchange for defenses. Well-known assassins include Fizz, Akali, Talon, and Zed. And, of course, my favorite champion in the game and the hardest carry in League of Legends, Kassadin. And what mid does is actually pretty simple too. It's the shortest lane, so minions reach there first even though they have the same respawn timers. This means that mid laners can get the most farm in the entire game, which further amps up their damage and relevance. Mid laners can also rotate to top or bot lane, applying further pressure and potentially getting a kill, although such practices rarely happen in lower elos. Finally, mid lane generally is where the biggest pushes happen. Because it's so short, minions arrive at the enemy base much faster than from top or bottom. In conclusion, mid is the lane with the spell slingers and the deleters. It's like top lane, but in the middle of the map, so there's always someone for you to kill while staying safe back in the fountain. ADC is a term you may have heard about a few times. It stands for attack damage carry, which for all you uneducated folk refers to a god of ranged combat that will get a pentakill late game. This strange beast sits in bot lane and prioritizes getting last hits on minions and as many champion kills as possible. Guys like MF, Twitch, Jhin, and Jinx. And of course the random Yasuo. Does Mordekaiser still ADC? Hell if I know. Actually, for this role, I can put up every single champion that's a standard ADC. There's 21 altogether. ADCs go crit, lifesteal, and pure, raw, unadulterated damage. It's pretty standard stuff. Nothing too out there. Keep that in your head right up until you see a Darius trying to queue on the wrong side of the map. And now for the final role. Ha! I tricked you! You thought we were going to switch maps. Well, guess what? Bot lane is a duo lane. At the end of our journey comes the role that is blessed, yelled at, blamed, and praised alongside jungle for everything that goes wrong or right in a game of League of Legends. Yeah, I'm talking about the support. Strangely, there's not a lot of people that main it, maybe because it carries with it the idea of not getting last hits, or that sick triple kill, something that, for everyone else, is a major part of the game. I have a theory that every single champion that can support boils down to a simple formula. A good support needs at least 2 of the following. Multiple forms of CC, preferably one of it hard, like a stun or a root. A way to consistently heal or shield allies without summoner spells, please. Tanking abilities are just a lot of health, armor, or MR. Or, in the current meta, they can just deal a lot of damage. Logical people would instantly see that champions like Leona, with her high tankiness, multiple forms of CC, and amazing shield would be perfect for this role. Or someone like Soraka, who has consistent healing, a moderate CC and zoning ability, and just a bit of damage to back it up. But some people tend to use that last one, the insane damage, to justify most traditional mid laners as a support. Guys like Vel'Koz, Veigar, Brand, and Lux. Again, Lux gets 3 out of 4 points because she at least has a shield and 2 forms of CC, but Vel'Koz, Veigar, and Brand only have 1 hard CC ability. They get away with it because if they get fed, they can still supplement the damage from the ADC. At this point, you're probably wondering what exactly the support does, and let me tell you, it's all in the title. They support. Specifically, they help the ADC get as big as possible in preparation for the late game. Supports give all the CS from bot lane to their ADC and are supposed to only get assists so the ADC can rack up as much gold and XP as possible. The only exception to this rule, besides the mages listed, is Pyke. He gets the kills with his ultimate and then gives the gold to his ADC anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And I think that's about it. Yep, all done. Remember, this only serves as a bad intro to a long series. I couldn't really think of anything better to start with. I'll start making guides on champions next, so if you guys have any suggestions at all, leaving it in the comments would be a good idea. And no, I'm sorry, but I cannot make my voice any less annoying. Bye-bye.